YouTube, Shadow Sun here. Welcome back to my channel. I hope all are doing well. Um, Today I thought I would talk to you guys about how I read books pertaining to various forms of spirituality in the context of being blind and visually impaired, and how I read all the books that I'm reading currently on paganism and witchcraft. So, before I get into the aspects of reading and talking about the device that's um, in view right now, I want to talk about visual impairment and blindness for a minute because I want everyone to understand that blindness is um, one of those things that isn't really, for lack of a better term, cut and dry. So a lot of people think that if you're blind, you read Braille. Not everybody who's blind reads Braille. I personally choose to do so. I find that it's beneficial for me as a as a blind person. I think that it's literacy, and everyone has their own personal preferences. I know a lot of people who love audiobooks and things, and I personally think audiobooks are frustrating for me because they put me to sleep. But that being said, um, other people might, prefer to read enlarged print. So, like, imagine your font being really big or something of that nature. Or imagine, because, everybody has a different degree with their vision, whether they, because, some people could be considered legally blind, but they see relatively well. Um, and vice versa, somebody could be legally blind and see absolutely nothing. Imagine putting, say, for example, a sleeping mask on when you try to go to sleep to block out the light. You're not going to see a thing. Trust me. I've done it myself. I have some vision. I can see certain things. I can see the wall beside me that you can't obviously see from here, but I can see the table on the ground, and I can see my phone a little bit, but no detail really. It's very complicated because it changes quite a bit. Anyhow, I digress. The device in question is called a Braille note, and what it allows me to do is take notes. In addition to taking notes, it allows me to read books. So, as you'll see in the photo in the very end of the video, you'll see me reading the Braille that's on the bottom of the screen, the bottom of the keyboard has the display. And there's buttons on the very bottom of it to move the Braille forward. And that allows me to read the book in question, and in the case of my Amazon Kindle, is Transformative Witchcraft. And I have to say that in the context of books around the subject of witchcraft and paganism, finding books can be a little frustrating in terms of where to find them, but they are around. And even if you are not visually impaired or blind and you are looking for a particular book, it's available to you. It just might take you a little bit of time to find it, depending on where you're getting it from, because not everybody has access to Kindle or has access to the books option on iOS, or, depending on where you are. But there are options available to you. I have found a lot of good books on different other websites, and you can always ask around as well. But I'm really happy because I'm seeing a lot of progress in terms of, like, for the people who like audiobooks. I do check on that, and there are a lot of newer books coming out on the subject of, like, witchcraft and different types and paganism, where the books are becoming more readily available in the form of audio and in the form of text. I don't know how it is if you follow, like, a Reconstructionist path, but I'm sure that there's options out there. But my personal preference is to use Braille. I've also used an iPad to read books, and what I'll do is I'll use the display part of my note taker to read it via Bluetooth, and that's beneficial for me so that I am able to read everything using more than one device, or I could just read it on that device as well. But my personal preference is electronic braille, because braille books are very time consuming to reproduce, and I don't mind books with images. I just have to find workarounds to understand those images. Like, I'm sampling Sigil Witchery by Laura Tempest Zakroff, which is very good, and I recommend it already, even though I haven't finished the book. And when I see books with images, when I'm reading those books, what I do is I take the overall concept and I will, based on that, try to find an adaptation. Sigils, although that's a little bit difficult based on how visual they are. Or I'll find a way, whether I have to have someone describe it to me or not, I'll figure it out. But that's just how I choose to read, is just using my note taker or some other electronic braille device. They do have these devices where they are a display and they stand alone, and you can just use it with whatever device you have available, like the iPad or whatever other device you use. So that's just how I choose to read books, and my own personal take. How do you choose to read your books? What books are you currently reading? I'd love to know. Leave a comment. If you like what you have seen so far, please hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on that bell notification. Enjoy the full moon tonight before I forget to mention that. And if you're doing anything, I wish you all the best. Talk to you all Friday.